The SUMIF function allows us to calculate ranges of numbers to get totals based on a criteria. So to demonstrate this function, what I'm going to do, using this list of fruit we have here and the prices of them, we're going to total up how much apples cost in the list, how much pears, and how much oranges cost. So to do this, I'm going to do equals SUMIF, open parentheses, and Excel is asking for the range. This is the range that we're going to run the criteria check through. So it's going to be C3 to C14 because we want to see which of these rows have apple. So the criteria is apple. Press comma, and now it's asking for the sum range. So it's basically saying, okay, if I find a row with apple, which column am I taking the number from? In this case, it's the cost, so it's D3 to D14. So close parentheses, hit enter, and we get 4. And what Excel has basically done, it's gone through this list here, it's picked out everyone that says apple, and then it's added them together. So we've got apple there, there, and there, so we have 4. And there we go, we've got 4. We can do exactly the same for pear, so it's equals SUMIF, open parentheses, select the range, so we're going to select the product, press comma, but this time we're going to type pear, press comma, the sum range, which is D3 to D14, close parentheses, hit enter, and all the pears in this list total up to £10. And I'm just going to show you another way you can do this. As you've noticed there, I've actually typed in the word apple and the word pear in the formula, which is absolutely fine. You can do it like that. But if you was to have a list where there was many different types of products and you needed to total them all, there is an easier and quicker way we can do this. What we will do is equals SUMIF, open parentheses. Again, we're going to select the range, which is C3 to C14. But before we go further now, what we're going to do is create an absolute reference. And you'll understand why in a moment. So to create an absolute reference, on the Mac it's Command T, and you can see all the dollar signs have just been put in. And that will basically stop this range from changing. Because what we're doing is writing the formula once, and then we're going to autofill it down, and it will automatically update depending on the criteria. You'll understand what I mean in a moment. So on the Mac it's Command T, on the Windows it's F4 to create the absolute reference. Press comma, and now we're going to select F2 for apple. Instead of typing it in, by selecting it here, as we go through the list in a moment by autofill, it will automatically update with pear or orange, and it will save you from writing it. And this is especially handy if you have a long list with many different types of products, for example. So press comma, and then the sum range is D3 to D14. Again, we're going to make an absolute reference here because in a moment when we autofill down, we don't want these numbers to change. So it's Command T on the Mac or F4 on Windows. Close parentheses, hit enter, and there we are, we have £4. Now what I was saying about autofilling down, you'll understand the benefits now. If you drag down to the bottom right corner of the cell, you see you have a crosshair. If you now click the left mouse button and hold and drag down to the next 2 rows, there we are, we've autofilled that formula into these rows and saved ourselves time. Now if you had a long list, you can imagine how much time that would save you. And if I just show you very quickly, you can see because we absolute referenced the range and the sum range, these numbers won't change. But the F2, this is what's called a relative reference, and it's referring to the apples in this instance. But if we go down to pears and double click, you'll notice on this row it's referring to the pear, and this is because it's a relative reference. So as we drag the formula down, it automatically moves down 1 row. So the criteria is always being updated with the formula. So here we have apples £4, pears £10, and orange £9 based on a criteria in the SUMIF.